Hi, it's Carrie from Classic Cottage Art and Antiques in Bowling Green, Virginia, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Creating at Classic Cottage. Thanks to all of you who have subscribed, and if you haven't subscribed, head on down and hit the subscribe button right there so you'll be updated every time I upload a new video. Today's video is all about taking home decor items around your house that are outdated or kind of ugly and creating beautiful pieces with them. So come on down and let's get started. So today's project is this outdated candle sconce. It's this kind of ugly brass, but it has really pretty lines. I really like this tassel detail here, and I even like the detail around the candle cup, but I don't especially like the color. This project is so quick and so simple, you're not going to believe it. Because this is metal, you definitely want to clean it. So I cleaned it with Dixie Belle White Lightning Cleaner. I actually had to take it apart. This one has a screw in the back, and I was able to take this out. There was dust and dirt in there, so I want to make sure I got that all cleaned out. But I mixed this up as per directions, cleaned it up, and then I rinsed off the residue. Anytime you clean, as you know, you want to get rid of the residue so paint sticks. Normally, if I were just going to give this a straight paint job, I would actually use Dixie Belle Slick Stick because it is metal. However, this particular technique, I don't need Slick Stick. As a matter of fact, I don't want Slick Stick. So all you're going to need is, I call it a cheapy chip brush, but a chip brush works pretty good, in my opinion, the best for this particular technique. And Dixie Belle paint. You could use any color, any kind of paint probably, but Dixie Belle is a good choice because it has a good, thick, creamy consistency, and it's just easy peasy. So you're not going to believe how easy this is to do. We're going to do a dry brush technique. And it's very simple. You need very, very little paint, and I'm talking little bit of paint. As a matter of fact, that might be too much paint. So I'm going to offload it on my paper towel here a little bit. And what you're going to start doing is you're just going to start dry brushing. I mean, what's cool is if you go over the top like this, it doesn't go down in the details. It leaves some of that color still showing. And I'll show you how we can fix that later. Just a little bit of paint goes a long way. I mean, you can do a ton of projects like this with this technique. But really just dry brushing. And notice I'm not really reloading the paint, and I've still got plenty of paint on my brush. If you get too much in a spot that you don't like, wipe it off with a damp rag and start over. That's what I love about this technique. It's so simple. Now, if you clean your piece and set it aside like I did for a year, because actually I lost it. I have a lot of stuff. I did actually go back and take rubbing alcohol and wipe it down because I didn't want the oil from my fingers touching it. And notice how I'm touching it here. I'm trying not to touch because I do want the paint to stick. I don't want it to stick to the oil from my hand. And look how it picks up the details here. Isn't that cool? But this is so simple to create a new look for your home. Now, I'm going for like a shabby chic type of look for me. Watch this. Let's see if I get it. Now, this isn't everybody's taste, but if you have pieces around your home that, like me, that are outdated, but they have really pretty lines still, this is the perfect technique. I always say if you have a very expensive heirloom or antique, I wouldn't recommend painting it if it's worth a lot of money. Or if it has a lot of sentimental value, as it is, I wouldn't paint it. But if you have a piece of home decor or even furniture that you're not loving, you're sticking it in a corner or covering it up or not using, go ahead and paint it. Change the look of it to fit what you have going on now. I have rooms and rooms full of stuff that I need to do this to, actually. This was the style back in, I don't know, probably the 80s or the 90s, and it looked fine then, but be careful not to touch too much of this. But, I mean, it was the style then. Not my style now. And this shabby chic look, I think, would look really good against, say, a dark accent wall. Because it would really pop. I said I got a whole lot there, but that's okay. Shabby chic is all about not being perfect. And oops, see, I got a little bit too much that I wanted there. Not a problem. Just wipe it back. And I'm basically just hitting the high points here. And see how it picks up the detail in there? I don't know if you can see that, but trying not to wipe it off. Now again, you're going to want this to cure. But the cool thing is it's going to hang on the wall, so it's not going to get a whole lot of use, probably bumping around. So cure time isn't as critical as it normally would be in a piece of furniture. Now, the cool thing about this dry brush technique is that you don't have to use just one color. I am going to use just one color, but you don't have to. You can build up layers and layers. As a matter of fact, I did an entire piece of furniture one time with just the dry brush technique using different colors. Just building layers and layers, and it turned out so pretty. But this is a good technique to use on this. I mean, this is metal, of course, but you could use it on wood. You could use it on plastic. Look how pretty that would be on plastic. Again, you want to make sure that you clean everything really well so it sticks. So obviously, like I said, on wood, you could use it on plastic. You could use it on glass. You could on ceramic. It's really pretty on ceramic. But yeah, I mean, this is so versatile. So quick. I mean, just in a matter of not even probably an hour, you could have a finished piece ready to put in your home. I'm really liking that, but I have another piece over here that I've, the twin to this, and I'll show you in just a moment. I'm trying to make them match, so. And the good thing is, if you don't get enough the first time around, let it dry, and that's the other thing. This is going to dry so quickly for you because you're just doing a dry brush technique. And you're using a little bit of paint, so it's going to dry super quick, and that's another reason it's such a quick project. Very careful not to. Okay. But you can add another layer, another coat. I mean, just like that. I mean, it's not everybody's cup of tea, as they say. But I really like this technique to take outdated home decor, and this way I can be able to use it in my home with its current decor. Or, go to a thrift store. If you don't have something already, go to a thrift store, an estate sale or something, and find a piece that you really love the lines, but the color, look past the color that it is now and see what it could be. But already, look how fast that has transformed already. And now you can choose to wax this. You can choose to clear coat it, or you can choose to leave it as it is. Dixie Belle Paint does not actually require a top coat of any sort. Once it's cured, it's tough stuff. For furniture, I usually like to put some kind of extra protection just because it's going to be used a lot. But for something like this, it's going to hang on the wall. Nah. Now, if I wanted an extra sheen, I might want to do that. I think I'm even going to go down in the candle cup here. Maybe. There we go. Oh, this is so fun. It's very relaxing, and there's no right or wrong way to do this. It's just however you want it to look. If you painted it more solid and you wanted to, say, make it look a little more distressed, you could always take sandpaper to certain areas. But I like this because you see how I'm doing this, and so the detail is really showing up here. I get carried away and just want to keep going and going. Look at how quick this is. I mean, we're almost done, y'all. It's so fast. And if you get it too much in one area, no problem. That's the perfectly imperfect look of this particular technique. Okay, so this is what I've done so far. Whoops, I missed a spot. Not a problem. And I will go back and do some more on this, but this is what I have so far, which looks okay. I mean, if you like the rustic part and you like all of the gold showing through, that's great. And this is the other piece. So you can do two different ways. I mean, you can make it as thick of a coverage or as thin of a coverage as you like. And the other thing you can do with this is you can take some Dixie Belle Glaze, and this is the black glaze. And if you want to pick up even more of the details, I'm going to probably make these two match, so I'm going to set this one aside. And this is Dixie Belle, it's a little bit dried up, but it's a Dixie Belle black glaze. I'm using just a tiny little bit. If I want to get in these details a little bit more, I kind of like it this way. And if I don't like it, that's the beauty of this. I can just take and paint right back over it. No big deal. But what I'm going to do is, this one's completely 100% dry. As a matter of fact, it's been dry for a while. I'm going to use this a little bit wet. And I'm going to go and get all down in these crevices. And then I'm going to take a paper towel or a cloth. I'm going to make sure it's damp. And I'm just going to wipe it back. And it's going to show up those details even better. With glaze, without glaze. And so I kind of like it. I'm kind of liking it with the glaze now. I was going to leave it not, but I think I kind of like it with the glaze. So once again, I'm going to make this a little damp, not too much. And I'm going to get down in the crevices. And if you get the black glaze, in the jar, it may look blue. But it does, in fact, dry black. And then I'm going to take a damp cloth. And isn't that just cool? I really like the way that looks. And this piece has a beautiful example of what you can do with all of the detail. Now this has been dried for some time, so it probably didn't need a clear coat. You can actually put a satin or flat clear coat over this so that the paint does not absorb the glaze, but this has been dried for quite some time now, so I didn't need to do that. But just look how beautiful that is. It brings out the detail, but it brings it more into current times, I think. But this is so simple. I mean, I don't think it could get much simpler. But I'm going to make sure I try to get it down in all those little nooks and crannies and crevices and such. And the glaze will sit in there and give you a beautiful detail. It'll just bring out that detail. It's absolutely beautiful. Yep, I think I like it with the glaze on it. So I'll finish this up and then I'll show you the finished product. So that's it. That's all you have to do to take something that's this brass color and turn it into something beautiful. With the glaze, without the glaze, with just a light coat, with more coverage. It's up to you. You're the designer. You create what looks good to you and what's in your home. Get creative, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.